Before you open the new shiny high-yield savings account, you need to stop. You could be walking into hidden fees, fluctuating rates, and even tax surprises without even knowing it. Did you know that some banks quietly lower your rate after just a few months? Or that your interest earnings could get you in trouble with the IRS if you are not careful? So in this video, we'll cover the 10 most important things I've identified that you need to know about high-yield savings accounts, the kind of insights that could save you from losing hundreds or even thousands of dollars over time. Hey guys, welcome. My name is Alex Isidro. For those of you who don't know anything about me, and in this channel, my goal is to help you earn more money and achieve financial security. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, consider subscribing to the channel. My goal is to reach 10,000 subscribers this year, so your support, I greatly appreciate it, and you can certainly help me reach that goal if you find this video helpful. All right, so the first thing you need to know before opening a high-yield savings account in 2025 is that you have to pay taxes on your earnings. Now, the interest on your high-yield savings account is considered taxable income. And according to the IRS, if you earn more than $10 in interest, you need to be reporting that to the IRS at the end of the day. Now, the way this works is your bank will typically send you a 1099 INT form if you earn more than $10 in interest during the year. So be sure to include this in your taxes if you file them on your own, or if you have an accountant, then just give it to your accountant. It's super simple, so don't forget to file your taxes at the end of the year. Now, the second thing that you need to know before opening a high-yield savings account is that your rates will actually drop. Now, this is actually one of the disadvantages with high-yield savings accounts, so don't be alarmed when your bank suddenly just drops your interest rate. You're wondering what in the world is happening. So just remember that high-yield savings account rates are directly tied to the Federal Reserve's policies. So when the Fed raises or lowers interest rates, the banks will adjust accordingly. Some banks may delay increasing rates but are quick to lower them. So remember this, it's your responsibility to make sure that you monitor your account and you are earning the interest that is most accurate and that is available on their website. If you're earning less interest than what they're advertising on their site, then you may need to call them to make sure that they upgrade you to the latest and greatest interest if the rates are going up. Another thing that you must know before opening high-yield savings accounts is the fact that interest is not the only thing to look for with these accounts. While interest rates are important, other things like peace of mind, convenience, and personally, I think customer service is huge. So these are all equally crucial. A slightly lower rate may be worth it if the bank offers excellent features and reliability. In fact, one of my friends recently opened an account with Discover, and Discover is obviously a big organization. Right now, they're going through a merger with Capital One. And one of the things he told me is that he opened an account with Discover because he was already familiar with them and he already had their credit cards. So he thought convenience, and he was already familiar with the organization here. He already had a lot of trust with them. And so it was just a no-brainer for him to just continue banking with Discover. So these are the things that we got to look for, the familiarity. At the end of the day, the warm and fuzzy feeling of confidence, trust, and do I want to bank with this organization? I think that's going to go a long way beyond the interest rate that some banks or organizations may offer. And at the end of the day, you may not feel too familiar with them, or maybe you just deep down are not sure, you don't trust them. And one of the things that I've learned about life is if it's not a hell yeah, then it's a no. The fourth thing you need to know about high-yield savings accounts is the fact that you probably will have to deal with an online organization. And I know that this can be a little scary for people who are a little bit more traditional, who like to go to brick and mortar stores. They like to talk to the teller, they like to talk to the customer service rep, and they want to fix the problem, especially talking to somebody in person. Now, what happens with these high-yield savings accounts is they're mostly provided by online organizations, and this is exactly why the interest rates are so high compared to other Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo savings accounts, because they're online. They don't have all the overhead costs like rent on the location of the bank, or also paying the staff and paying benefits. So they're able to provide you with those higher interests. Now, if you are somebody that wants to take advantage of that very much high rates of high-yield savings accounts and still want somewhere to go to, there are a few banks out there. The one that comes to mind that's the most popular in my findings is Capital One 360. Capital One offers branches and in-person banking, so you can take advantage of the high-yield savings account while going to talk to somebody about your account in person. So there are other banks out there, but they're very small. It's not everyone that offers this type of service. So just brace yourself, and in case you are a little bit anxious about sending your money online, and then you having fear to access it. Now, one thing that I recommend here is you depositing $10, $100, $1,000 here and there, just so that you get familiar with the process. You start trusting these organizations, whatever one you choose. So that way you start having no worries and start using these online organizations, which for the most part, I've learned that they are pretty safe as long as they're reputable, they have reviews. And I'm going to give you more tips later on how you can choose a high yield savings account and organization for your convenience. All right, you can, yes, CAN, you can have too many high yield savings accounts. One of the most frequently asked questions that I get is, hey, Alex, can I open multiple high yield savings accounts? And is it going to be bad for my credit? Now, it's not that you cannot have too many savings accounts because it affects your credit, but I think it also comes more, in my personal opinion and experience, from managing too many things, right? So while you can technically have multiple high yield savings accounts, managing too many can get overwhelming and a little bit complex. Now, so there are separate accounts for specific goals that you can set up, and many organizations out there, they do provide you with vault, or they call them envelopes. So these are essentially different mini savings accounts with one account number. So you have one account number and you have different savings goals, and you can save for a house, for a car, for a wedding, for your vacation. They all have one savings account number. So this is something that you can start using. And if you are thinking about, quote unquote, diversifying if you have a lot of money and you want to, quote unquote, diversify your money, I don't look at it as investment. Like high yield savings accounts, I'm not investing. It's not like it's going to give you that much of a benefit. It may give you a little bit of a peace of mind. If you want to approach it that way, then that's personally, I think obviously you can make whatever decision you want. But personally, I like to keep it all simple, straightforward, one savings account, maybe two. And that way you can start using it and start worrying too much about managing, because you don't want to create another job managing all of your savings accounts and checking all of them, making sure they're doing well. It's not the stock market, right? As long as your money is fully insured, then personally, I like to keep it simple and straightforward. So let me know in the comments, by the way, if you're somebody that is, quote unquote, diversifying your high yield savings account. Personal finance is personal, so you can choose obviously to do whatever you want to do. Now, here's another question that I get. Hey, Alex, a high yield savings account safe? And this is something that you need to know if you are opening a high yield savings account. And what I've found and what I've experienced is that, yes, high yield savings accounts are generally safe as long as they are FDIC insured, which, believe it or not all commercial banks out there are FDIC insured. So make sure that whatever bank you choose, it's reputable and it is insured up to $250,000 per account in the case the bank fails, and always verify the bank's insurance status before opening an account. So it's very simple. You go to a website, you can check whether or not the bank that you are considering, if it's not a popular bank, it's actually FDIC insured. Now, another thing that you need to know about your high yield savings account is the fact that you may get locked out of your account if you don't know what I would tell you, because it's possible that the bank flags unusual activity or suspicious transactions in your account. So, for example, many times people tell me I couldn't transfer money into my bank account. I got locked out. I had to call customer service. And when I contacted customer service, they told me that when there are certain thresholds of money being transferred out of a savings account, they want to make sure that you are the one on the receiving end as well, to avoid theft. So not only did they confirm that you made the transaction taking money out, but also you are the one, or at least you're aware of the money being received somewhere else. That's why sometimes the process takes a little longer. Now, that's what they suggest. Now, another thing that I think here is when you start as a banker, as somebody who used to be working at a bank, so I have insight, when you start processing a lot of transactions and you start taking money out, putting money in, taking money out, putting money in, and your account is brand new, the bank system is going to flag you and you may have to end up calling customer service. Now, the reason this is important is because many people don't know. They start using the savings account as a checking account, and they may start thinking that nothing is going to happen. And especially if you are new to an organization, you're establishing trust, you're going through a quote unquote period of observation. That's what all new accounts go through in a bank, by the way. Banks are usually monitoring your activity. It's not like they're spying on you, but they want to make sure that your activity is not, quote unquote, suspicious and your money is all good to go, right? So you want to make sure that you avoid these types of transactions very often, and also that are including or involving a large sums amount of money. So if you are going to be taking money out to avoid delays, especially if it's a large amount, what I suggest you do is call customer service. You give them a heads up that you're going to be taking a lot of money out, especially also if you're going to be overseas or somewhere else, that the system may flag your activity, may flag your account for the things that you are trying to do. So that way you avoid wasting time and waiting too long for your money. So keep transactions straightforward and legitimate, of course. Avoid frequent large withdrawals or deposits because that may flag the system. And if your account gets frozen, then you need to contact customer service immediately and provide whatever they are requesting. So this one is going to help you a lot more than you think. All right, so you might be wondering now, something else that you need to know is, are high yield savings accounts the best option? And they're typically offer higher rates than regular savings accounts. So in that sense, yes, they are the best option when it comes to savings accounts themselves, but they are not stable, right? We mentioned previously that the rates fluctuate based on economic conditions. And so they are good for short-term savings goals or for emergency funds, maybe for the next 3 to 5 years. Now, one thing that I've learned from doing a lot of research is that many financial experts suggest if you are going to be needing your money in less than 5 years, then it's a good idea to use a high yield savings account. However, if you're not going to need your money in 5 years or more, then consider investing the money in index funds on the stock market, things like that, because that way your money will be earning more interest overall. So now let's put the negatives here in one page because I want you to understand what you need to know before opening these high yield savings accounts. The fact that they do have change of rates, as we mentioned. They also have a little bit of a transfer delay, right? Like some banks out there offer same-day transactions, same-day transfers, which is great. And some banks out there, to avoid transfer delays, because it can take 1 to 3 business days, sometimes even 5, sometimes even longer if it's a lot of money. Now, one thing that I suggest here is if you foresee yourself using these savings accounts often and frequently, then consider opening a checking account. So that way you can get an ATM card and you can transfer money from your savings, from high yield savings, to your checking. And that way you can take money out to the ATM. Of course, there will be limits with the transactions through your ATM, and there's other requirements that you need to meet. But overall, that's going to be the fastest way for you to transfer your money and avoid transfer delays of up to 3 or 5 business days. There's also, as I mentioned, withdrawal limits, because some accounts may limit how often you can withdraw money each month. Most banks out there that I've seen offer unlimited withdrawals per month, but it doesn't mean that they are not going to flag you if you make too many withdrawals, especially if it's a lot of money, as we established previously in the other previous point. Now, there could be also fees associated with the high yield savings account. Now, what I found is that most banks out there, especially online organizations, they don't charge for these types of services like a high yield savings account or even a checking account. So just make sure that no organization is charging you. To me, it's a huge red flag if you start getting charged, because that way it starts eating up on your interest, and you obviously don't want that. Now, having said all of this, you might be wondering, okay, Alex, I get it, man. So now how do I choose a high yield savings account? Now, consider things like the interest rate, of course, which is the hook that gets us interest, that gets us in the door. Is it competitive? Is it good enough? It doesn't have to be the highest, as I mentioned, as long as you get that warm and fuzzy feeling that you trust an organization. So, of course, the FDIC insurance, which is crucial and paramount when choosing this high yield savings account. To me, it's also important to have the customer service, because I at least want to talk to somebody on the phone when I have a problem, when I have a question. Also, how easy is it to use? Look at the reviews, what people are saying online. And understand one thing, when we go online, understand that most people go online to complain, right? So just make sure that you understand how relevant the comments are, how recent they are, and that way you can make the best decision for yourself. Certainly, I've chosen products that are 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, and I had a good experience, right? Maybe I lucked out. So just know what you're getting into before just signing up in an organization fully. And of course, that make sure that there are no hidden fees, no withdrawal fees, and no locking out of your account, because some banks do that. So if you want to learn more about high yield savings accounts, check out this playlist where I provide a lot of reviews and insight on high yield savings accounts, or check out the best high yield savings accounts that I found here in this video over here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one.